Rick, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
Coming back to Glasgow on tour.
It's always a fun gig, there's no doubt about that. I would say that because I'm talking to you and talking about doing that, but no, but it is, there's certain gigs I think that you speak to other artists and they say, Scotland's always good. It just is. I just try and enjoy it, to be honest. I'm too old not to enjoy it. I am in it for the money, of course I am, but I'm in it for the whole package, the joy of actually doing it.
You had a great start with Stockake and Waterman.
Yeah, I've been in bands from when I was at school. I started on drums. I still love drumming today and playing. I'm not very good, but I love it. I just get on it and
I beg to differ at Glastonbury.
I'm all right. I'm okay. I could be a pub drummer. No offence to pub drummers, but I could. And I sang a bit from the drums because I'd always sung as a kid anyway. And Pete Waterman came to a showcase at one point and he just really liked my voice and he thought I can do something with that voice. Peter wasn't a superstar. I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Stockake and Waterman were something in the building process at that time. It just so happened I got super lucky that I kind of signed a little deal with them, and 6 months later they're having number one after number one after number one. So it's like, okay, that was a good plan. That was a good thing.
And I was a little girl at that time, and those songs were the soundtrack to my life.
It's hard sometimes because I was in the middle of it. I was one of those artists, and I was in that kind of, I call it, because it was called a hit factory, I sometimes call it a sausage factory. But they kind of go, we know what we're doing, we're just going to crack on and do it, you know. And some people hated their stuff, I know they did, and a lot of the music press did. But, like yourself, millions of people absolutely loved it, and it is kind of the soundtrack to a part of their life. I don't regret anything, and I don't regret anything I ever signed, any deal I ever did, anything, because I'm enjoying where I am now, and I think that is the important thing. If I was miserable, penniless, and I'd turn to drinking drugs or whatever, like a lot of people have in the music industry, and we know there's endless terrible stories, then that'd be a different thing. But I'm not. I'm pretty chirpy about it and kind of I'm grateful. Simple as that.
Over the past few years, you have had a resurgence.
Yeah, I mean, I made a record when I was about to turn 50. I thought, I'm going to call it 50 because, like, Adele keeps calling her records 19, 21, da-da-da, and I thought, I'm going to get 50 before she gets there, you know what I mean? I wasn't making an album as such, I was just going to make a collection of songs and somehow get them out there. Because I've done lots of gigs that are basically retro, nostalgia. There's no playing fourth song from album 3 because no one wants to hear it. And BMG, RCA, my old record label, heard some of it, got involved and said, no, we think we can go with it. And they did. And they really got stuck in and we had a #1 album.
Was that around the time that, dare I say it, Rick Rolling took
it
off?
would have been, Rick Rolling would have been before that. Rick Rolling started like almost 15 years ago, I think.
Gosh, was that 15
It's something like that. It's like this thing where you send somebody a link and you fool them into watching Never Gonna Give You Up. Seen this thing where the White House emailed everyone on staff and Rick rolled them. I'm not saying Obama did it, but it came from within the White House top brass.
Let's say Obama did it.
Somebody, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that'll do. And the other joy of that is that 10-year-old kids come up for a selfie sometimes. And as much as that boggles my mind, I sort of think, wow, after all these years, it's amazing that that song somewhere has found its little place on the internet.
Another incredible moment. I know there's been many, but Glastonbury.
Bonkers.
To be the talk of Glastonbury last year, the one that everyone wanted to go back and watch.
I think Elton was the talk, but
I would say you were a close second.
I'll take second from Elton every day of the week.
But what a moment. I mean...
No, it was great. I mean, everything about that weekend for us was incredible.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, of course I was. Yeah. And I don't get that nervous at my own gigs, but Glastonbury's different. That audience, for one thing, is enormous, and it's the thing of being on the Pyramid stage. I've played a few festivals now, and it's freaky to get to play festivals after all these years of never doing it and never being asked.
Yeah.
But that's a big one.
New album as well. Are we there yet? How's that been going?
Yeah, it's great. And it's kind of amazing that I still get to do it. I've still got a record label that go, are you going to make a record this year? Rather than like, please don't make a record this year. We can't. And that might seem like me being self-deprecating, whatever. It isn't. It's just reality. Yeah. I'm never afraid to talk about the fact that I had some 80s hits, so I've had a comfortable life. That's a weird equation, and to this day, I never forget it.
Yeah.
I brush my teeth every morning, and I kind of go, you lucky git. But I also had quite a few years where I was just dad. I think that's why I still kind of have a love for it, it's singing and stuff and playing, because I didn't do it for quite a while.
Yeah.
And it also taught me to appreciate it.
Scotland does have a bit of a special place in your heart as well.
Indeed,
isn't it?
yeah. It's our daughter lives in Denmark. She met a chap, lovely guy, and he is from Glasgow, and they're getting married this year. And I have to be really careful about that because obviously that's their private life and I don't want to what have you. But obviously, I mean, I also want to shout about it a bit.
Well, we see Rick Astley in a kilt.
My wife likes a kilt.
You got to do it.
Like, she kind of like really likes a kilt.
You
know?
definitely have to do it.
So I've been asking people recently, actually, is that an okay thing to do? Is that okay for a Sassenach? Can I call myself that? Is that all right? And evidently it is.
If your daughter's marrying a Scot, I think you have to.
I'll wear a clown's outfit if that's what they want.
You have been an absolute joy to
Thank
chat
you, I've
to.
enjoyed
Thank
it.
you so much. Can't
Thank
wait
you.
to see you at the Hydro in a kilt or whatever. Thank
Indeed.
you.
Or a clown's outfit.
Or a clown's
One or the
outfit.
other.
That's just me
Or
every
a bit
day.
of both, who knows?